Growing up, I guess my parents found me problematic, so they took me to a therapist in fear that I was a serial killer baby. But in the end of the day, I think I turned out okay. Welcome to the Triple Take. I'm Joseph.
I'm Manny.
Now I'm Frank.
And today we're going to take a dabble into the weird, strange, but also understandably understandable fascination of serial killers. Because for whatever reason,
Understandably
Wait a minute, 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 whoa, whoa, whoa.
Speak for yourself,
That
brother.
could be the
brother
first
Lucas.
thing we.
so we're going to
I'll
be
wait to
talking
hear
about the
this
fascination of serial
justification.
killers. I say that in the sense of when people say things that's like not their business, if you're driving on the road and you just see
Oh, the
cops
chisme?
doing something,
Like the chisme.
everyone's just going to be like, I wonder what's happening.
Oh,
Or
Bochincheto.
things
I
that
got you.
people don't necessarily comprehend. There's some sense of piqued interest
Okay,
to
I can
just
agree with that.
try to figure it out. You know what I mean?
I can agree with that. The
Oh my
chisme.
God,
I
I
agree.
can't believe-
I agree.
I can't believe this killer did this, but they want to know why. There's always that.
Why
what
did you
happened,
do it?
Why it happened, how it happened. Those
What's
are the
wrong
three
with
major
you?
questions that people ask. But yeah, that's
Okay.
what we're gonna dabble into. Because I do the things I do. Granted, I ain't no serial mofo at all. I have no
Nah, you just
legal
eat.
issues.
You just eat
Allegedly.
cereal.
I get away with it all the time. But nothing has happened. But for whatever reason, especially nowadays, back then you had the whole concept of true crime, and now you're getting entire shows or movies based off of these very horrible, horrible, heinous crimes that were committed not that long ago, to be honest, timeline-wise. You're only looking at a difference of, like when our parents was growing up, to be honest, and that's just a generation ago. Let alone whatever's going on right now.
I mean, look, bro.
I don't want to
Like when it comes to serial
Oh,
killers and from my experience, it's usually girls are like watching like those murder documentaries.
not a woman.
We know a bunch of them.
I know a bunch of them. That's the only reason. Like through my personal experience, and I'm sure a lot of men can relate.
My mother.
Women love watching murder mystery documentaries and things of that nature.
Yeah.
It's just something they like. I think it's the chisme. I don't know. But either way.
Can you believe that estas mujeres lo ando eso?
For real?
No,
Like-
no. It's when you
like
get
what?
the Hispanic dad that gets into it. Never gonna hear the end of it.
Yo, when they start standing with their tummy out, like, yeah,
No, they do the.
yeah, like, what are you watching? This is stupid. Yo, why you do that? That's crazy. And all of a sudden, sitting down, they're both eating popcorn, like in telenovelas. Anyway, but the thing that throws me for a loop for this, bro, is that, I'm going to just go with my example immediately, right? The Jeffrey Dahmer series, that happened a while ago. Right? Like probably a couple years ago, I think. I forgot.
The monster series.
I got
based
you.
off
I got you.
the
I got
season
you. I
about
got you.
Jeffrey
I got you. I
Dahmer.
got you. Go ahead. Go. I got you. I got you.
Crazy thing about that series that found me was the fact that, and I think this is something that these shows, like, I understand why they're doing it, but it's causing like a little bit of weirdness with the people that are watching it. It's like it's perverting the actual story, and like the people that actually went through it that are still alive, is that they make the killer this very attractive individual to these women, and now all these women or all these people that are attracted to this individual are now like it came out in 2023. So all these people
22, 3 years ago.
in 2022. The show came out in 2022. So this is a while ago, but still. They started justifying some of the things he did, and then like felt bad for him for the things he went through. And were kind of like sexualizing him on the internet for like a while. This is like probably like for a year and some change. And like I feel like I can only imagine how weird that was for the people that actually were affected by it. And I'm not saying it's the show's fault specifically, but like it goes to show how a show like that, like based off a true story, can really change the narrative on what happened and
So-
sway opinion to like the side that is the protagonist of the story.
For going off of your point about the over sexualization of the person, because it's not a character.
You got Joe, you got
the-
Jeffrey Dahmer, you got all those people. Zac Efron
The
as that one guy.
Ted Bundy.
it's
Bundy.
hard for them to really attempt to do that. I don't think that's necessarily their intent, because in reality, and this is I'm just saying, I've looked up a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer, and I've looked up a picture of what Evan Peters looks like in the series. It's spot on. Like, Like it's pretty accurate. I don't think that they're necessarily the intent is there to over sexualize the character. I think that's more of the audience's perception of it, which is, I agree with you. It's just strange because how you were saying that you almost give them like a pedestal to sit on. This Jeffrey Dahmer series, I remember when it did come out in 2022 that everybody was talking about it. And then all of a sudden you saw like Google put up a stat, I don't know if you guys saw this, about how many people, and it was over like millions and millions of people were literally searching up on Google Jeffrey Dahmer because they were just trying to understand the real life story based on the fact that Netflix did this what do you call it, like
this series.
No, I'm saying like what would you call like a dramatization of an actual story?
Yeah.
A biopic. Okay. So, yeah, like that traffic went up so much that it surpassed like normal Google searches. Like, your typical like looking for like McDonald's, looking for their menu or definitions or something like that. It surpassed that to the point where people were just literally searching for his story. What is he about? The Wikipedia site went up millions because they were changing his story to fit the Netflix's biopic. Because, obviously Wikipedia, you could do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? And they were changing it so that way it would fit him, the Evan Peters version, I guess,
in the biopic
of it. And I think the over fascination stems from the fact, and this is just me, I think the over fascination stems from horror movies and creating horror icons, because most of these horror icons are, for the most part, centered around serial killers in real life. And as the horror genre, this is what I wanted to connect, the horror genre, as we all know, slashers and all that stuff have gone insanely down. We don't look at Jason and Michael Myers and Ghostface the same way we used to back in the day. They're more characters instead of icons. You know what I'm saying? So what do we do as humans? Create a new one. And this one just happens to be real life serial killers that are now turning into iconic figures. Because for me, I was watching Mindhunters, right? Mindhunters for me was the start of learning about all these different shows. I didn't even know that Amazon had already had a docuseries documenting every single like famous serial killer, per episode. It's like an hour-long episode describing what they did, how they grew up, all that stuff. And you end up diving deeper into it, and you end up finding out that all these streaming services and different organizations are capitalizing on the fact that, horror icons are out. And now we've made serial killers the icons because that's just the way of human nature.
And like the thing is, it's been going on for a while, because like even back in the day when they were most of those serial killers were alive, there was still the fascination in the media about them. Like, who is this person? Why did it happen? And obviously it was tied down to the fact that they committed these atrocious acts. But like it evolved into this of like it being kind of desensitized a little bit, and people now don't really look at it as like something that actually happened, but like as a story that they're being told in a TV show.
It's that's why I say it's more of the creation of a new icon, but using real life stories to capitalize on it. And this is just marketing in general. If you don't, from a business standpoint, it's just marketing because it's just hopping onto the train.
True story. Because it adds more elements to the actual media.
Because what horror movies did back in the day was instill the fact that Jason, we obviously have grown, we've evolved, that Jason could be at the bottom of the lake. Like that could be something that, is feasible or something like that. That's what you were kind of coerced into believing. Yeah. So now you take these real life stories that actually happened and you capitalize on the fact that people are wanting to know about it because it's so close to real life.
Thought about that is just you have the concept of what the truth is, and everyone's gonna want to know what's the truth. No one wants any fluff. They want the truth. They want something that's undeniable. And in the realm of back then, you were watching a horror movie, people were scared. You had that sense of allure with the sense of fear. And that argument of to a normal person, the whole concept of what serial killers do, how they think, how they operate, if they have any rituals, how they go about things, how they see life. That is such a realm of the unknown to regular people that not necessarily in the fear of the unknown, but there's always an underlying craving to understand. The human mind is always going to try to comprehend the subject one way or the other. And that just happens. Like, I can't believe someone would do this, but then you'd want to know, or there's just a weird tendency to have, oh, I need to know what happened. Like, there just ain't no way. There's that weird sense of doubt, and they just need that confirmation to validate it. You know what I mean? And going off of what Frank said in terms of like for a good amount of time, yes, these people are overly sexualized to a degree. Because it's not like they're getting lesser known actors and actresses to perform these roles. They get people that have already been established as their own celebrity, such as like Zac Efron or Evan Peters in their respective roles. Zac Efron as Ted Bundy and Evan Peters as Jeffrey Dahmer. On their own as a celebrity, they're attractive people. There's already a following. There's people that just look at them and like, yo, they're hot, cool, whatever. And then seeing them in a lot more... There's that weird allure of being in a much more grounded role. And, portraying a serial killer is a lot of grit, right?
Sure, it's not easy.
No, it's not. It's not. You just, the examples are Heath Ledger and Michael B. Jordan. They're playing fictional villains, and it's hard.
Yeah. And you have that weird sense of, one, you have the toll on the actor, on the individual, right? Because at the end of the day, they're going to want to give the best performance they possibly can and be true to the character they're portraying, right? Because that's just the nature of their industry. And the toll that comes with actually having to act out such heinous acts to a degree. Trying to portray that weird sense of timidness, and the best way to do it is try to psychologically put themselves in the shoes of said serial killer. And by extension, depending on the repertoire or filmography of these actors and what they've used to do before. Most actors don't go out of their way, like, sure, they want to be a star, but no one goes out of their way to be like, I want to portray a serial killer. Well, that's not me. There's some people that do, they're weird, but it is what it is. And you have their fans watch them play a broken individual, for a lack of a better term. Like, there's a weird sense of vulnerability, not necessarily just as whatever character they're portraying, but that sense of vulnerability that the actor portrays, in some capacity, these people connect to, and I was like, oh, this is their best role, and that's all they talk about. Because the one thing that off-put me about the whole Monster series, the season with Jeffrey Dahmer, is that few months from that release, Halloween came out. The holiday of Halloween was approaching, and it was a very, very popular trend to dress up as Jeffrey Dahmer.
So that's one of the other things I wanted to say, is that I knew a person that was, like how we're saying, is just over fascinated with that series and decided that he would dress up as that man, and I was just like, that's crazy work, my guy.
Real thing, bro. It's a real thing that happened.
It's and I don't mean to be mean. I don't mean to be mean, and I don't mean to be a little bit rude when I say this, but it's you're being an ick with a D.
And he's being insensitive.
You're being an ick with a D. That's crazy to think, because there are actual people out there that went through traumatic experiences because of these people, and to walk around and almost praise that person, because that's what you do in Halloween. You praise the character that you are dressing up as. It's insane to me. It's insane.
There was which this is more of an ick with a D scenario. I was trimming my beard. The guard fell off. I screwed up. I basically clean shaven. I went to work. I hadn't had a beard. I hadn't been clean shaven for like 2 years, and my lovely coworkers. And at the same time, this series had just came out. Wow, Joseph, you kind of look like Jeffrey Dahmer. And I'm just like, I don't eat people. Why are you making that a thing? I don't eat people. I'm weird, but I'm not problematic. You know what I mean? I'm not a problem, but okay.
No, problematic. That's a light way of putting that, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I agree, bro. Like, and it really comes down to like how, because another thing with the actors being such prominent people already is that they subconsciously link that person to that character now. You know what I mean? So it's just like now that person is that character, but also that character is that person. So in their mind, Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy isn't the person that committed these heinous acts. It's Zac Efron and Evan Peters that was on my screen, and they did this amazing performance that I liked. Like, it's not about what they did. It's about not what the person that they're portraying did. It's about what they did as an actor.
It's like when fans show up and they're just like, "Yo, do the thing. Can you do the thing for me? Do the pose.
Exactly.
Pretend like you're stabbing me." Like, I don't know why people do that, but that's what they want. And it's
weird.
kind of
It's weird. It's a weird.
because there's a disparity between, yes, I'm watching what I'm watching, but there's a realm of, which also happens to just general people if you're like reading or you're writing, or if you're reading or watching a show, playing a game or something, to some capacity, whatever story you're soaking up, it's a natural thing to kind of put yourself there to a degree. You know, like, what would I do in this scenario?
Immerse yourself.
Would I do this? That's the word I was looking for. You kind of immerse yourself in this situation, and as a result, have a disparity in the perception of that immersion. Because there's like, yes, I could say, oh, this is like, even if it's just a regular horror movie, not based on any true story, there's a weird disparity between that sense of fiction versus I am what I am. But then, like, in the moment, you're kind of sucked up in this immersion. Whereas you have the whole thing with serial killers. Yes, I'm watching a biopic. It is a show. I'm not reading the case file. I'm not doing anything. But to some capacity, the human mind has a tendency to immerse themselves in whatever situation is presented, right? To a degree. And there are people that take certain notions of that to a horrible degree, such as the whole, just as another real life thing, which isn't necessarily a serial killer, but nonetheless an example of what I'm saying. The whole situation where this teenage girl or two teenage girls tried to kill one girl as a result of them believing in the whole concept of Slender Man, which is a totally fake thing. Yes.
What?
It's totally a fake thing. They took this girl, like they were hanging out with her. They went to some woods, and they tried to kill her. And everything that they said when they were caught and interviewed, and the girl did not die. Fortunately, she got out of the situation. She sought help.
What were they doing? They were trying to sacrifice her for the Slender Man?
For the most part, yeah. And they were trying to explain what they were doing, and they were like, "What are you talking about?" And then the detectives or whatever were looking into. So, or the detectives were looking at the situation. You know, they didn't know what Slender Man was, and they're realizing, hey, this came from either a creepypasta or a video game, essentially like a cult classic, cult-made cultural video game. And somehow they got so enveloped in the lore that they started believing it, and they tried to murder a classmate as a result of that. That was their full justification. And like I said, there's this weird disparity between what is versus what isn't, and that line between real life and fiction to some capacity, I don't know, like it just doesn't exist for some people, and that is just weird. That is concerning, and I'm weird, but those people are the ones with problems, because ain't no way.
I agree.
Ain't no way.
But what I wanted to say, and I'm gonna make this point, and it's gonna sound a little bit wrong.
I don't like it when you start off something like that, man.
I'm just gonna say this. I also would like to believe, again, this is my opinion, that another reason for the over fascination of serial killers is due to the lack thereof. Because in my age group, in my generation of growing up,
You mean
we
outward?
have not.
I'm not that old.
In me and Frank's generation of growing up,
He's older than us. That's the crazy part.
It's only about 18 months.
either way, we haven't had a serial killer to that degree as back in the day. Obviously, nowadays, it's be very hard to be a serial killer. I'm not challenging you, people who are watching. I'm not challenging you to do so. But since there's a lack thereof, obviously, the human nature is to go to the most rarest thing. So, where there is rare in the fact that we don't have any and it's not prominent nowadays, coupled with the fact that nowadays the world is desensitized when it comes to the act of violence, it seems like it's just normal. You know what I'm saying? Because it's coupled with that fact. And once you meld those two together and people start getting interested in it, you overlook the harmful effects that it has behind it. Because that is all stemming from, like I said before, from the rarity and the desensitization of murder in general, because
That's what makes
you know
the
now
news.
that's what makes the news, and when you see it every day, you become desensitized from it. You know what I'm saying? And that leads you to overlook the consequences that come with it.
A good example would be like the school shootings.
Exactly. That is another example of something that the world has
It
desensitized.
happens like before. It would be crazy if it happened once, but now if it happens like twice in the same month, it's like, oh whoa, there's gonna be another one. Like it's move
Social
on like
media
in a couple days. Yeah, it's just like that's crazy.
There was
It's crazy how like media can like do that to you.
what's the wording?
So much content, you're just like, oh, it's just another thing, like whatever.
Yeah,
Happens all the
and
time.
to Manny's
crazy.
point, just because it's not necessarily known, because there are certain topics in the news that they don't talk about like, at all,
Of course.
such as the taking of one's own life. Like that's just something that you're not going to really hear unless it's a celebrity. But just because there aren't so many serial killers out there, because one big problem is that the public eye would give a serial killer notoriety. And sometimes this level of notoriety is fuel to the flame. And they feel empowered. They will have some sense of a god complex almost. To where there's like, you know, this is the right thing for me to do. People are loving me for it. And they assume and associate that attention for love and admiration. Which in the case, it's just more not. Or if it's fear and people get scared, then they also feed off of that fear. Just only because, hey, people know who I am. Usually serial killers start out as people that are obscure. No one knows about them. Or anything like that for the most part. You know what I mean?
You know what that description almost fits like word for word is something else? Social media influencers.
This is a good example. Because at the
It's
same
literally
time,
the same concept. Oh,
at the same
without
time-
getting rid of people.
there is a weird sense of addiction that does occur as a result of that attention.
Media.
Yeah, I mean, media is a good thing and a bad thing, and sometimes it just feels like ultimately a bad thing. But at the end of the day, it is a tool that can be used in either which way.
It's just something that amplifies whatever's there already.
Correct. And
So it's just a reflection of the people using it.
and to fully complement Manny's point, just because we're not hearing about it, that does not mean it's not occurring. Because at the same time, the police aren't going to want a serial killer to be known publicly. Because one, yeah, panic. That's just always an issue in civilization. You, in a sense, gaining notoriety to a serial killer, they're going to be empowered to do whatever they do. And at the same time, similarly to all the spiders you see in your house and you can kill them, it's the spiders that you don't see are the ones that are still surviving. So in other words, just because you're not hearing or seeing anything about a modern day serial killer, that does not mean they don't exist. They're out there. You know, realistically speaking, the statistics are there. That's why the FBI had their whole behavioral unit and they coined the term serial killer. Like, you know, they're out.
For those of you who want to know a little bit more about that, I suggest you watch Mindhunters. It's on Netflix.
Good show. Wish they continued it. Good show.
Yeah. Got canceled after second season. Crazy work.
Oh, it's not canceled. It's on development hold.
It got canceled.
Ah.
They saw Marilyn Manson and they cut the show.
Yeah. And on top of that, you know, just more of a final note from me. If you really want to know about serial killers, just take a moment. Find those interviews when they actually get interviewed. You really
Oh,
want to know the
no.
psychology of it? Go dive into that.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you,
It's not
I've-
as fun as the series, buddies.
I'll be honest with
It's
you.
not as fun as the
I'll
series.
be honest with you. I watched the example Mindhunters. If you don't know who Ed Kemper is,
Bro, miss me.
crazy story. I watched the Mindhunters way of doing it, and then I watched the real life interview.
Miss
Whoa, reality check.
Miss.
Reality check.
Because I think I have a certain, like, I understand that what I'm looking at is not. So I'm over here like, this is crazy, and they're acting. Imagine how crazy it is in real life. That's what I always think about. I'm just like, miss me. I don't even need to watch it. I know how crazy that.
Look,
like Marilyn Manson. Miss me.
what I want to harp on. This will be my final word is when we're having this over fascination of serial killers, and if you are the person that does, and you know who you are, don't lie to yourself. Just keep in mind the fact that these are real life tragic events that actually happened. And they have consequences, and they did harm to other people and other people's lives. Whether it be even from back in the day, you could have met an ancestor of somebody that knew Jeffrey Dahmer, for example, and they're like in some way that affected them to
did you
know
say-
that they're what?
Did you say ancestor?
Yeah, they have an ancestor. an ancestor that knew Jeffrey Dahmer or was involved in some sort of capacity. Is that not?
I thought Ancestor was a lot farther than that away. But you know what? I don't
I
know.
think you
I
meant.
don't know.
Yeah. Just move on. Continue.
That's fine.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
Either way, I would just like you to keep in mind that fact because it is hard for those people who have gone through these tragic experiences and for humans and us in general to put that person on a pedestal for the world to see and almost praise that is wrong. And I just want to harp that out. It's okay if you like serial killers. Go ahead.
Like, it's
You
cool
wanna-
if you want to be informed, like, understand why it happened, like, the psychology of it. Understandable. Like,
But when it
That's
comes
very
to the
important.
praising part of it, I would just want to not
Oh,
let's
that's what I'm
not put them on that pedestal because they did not do good things. Let's put good things on a pedestal.
and this is my final point. This is why you should not have idols. Should not have idols, bro. Because when it comes down to it, one, they're not perfect, and two, it can really creep into something like this where it gets really disturbing. I know a lot of people that idolize certain people and they can do no wrong, but then they do wrong, and then they try to justify it. That's insane. Stop. They're just people.
John Diddy Combs.
I don't think anybody was trying to justify what he did. I'm not gonna lie. That's the first time I've seen like, yeah, nah, this is crazy. It was just a joke, which was technically like not cool, but you know, the internet's gonna internet. So
Yeah,
shout
it
out
is.
CEO of Vanguard,
Oh, CEO of Astronomer.
CEO of Astronomer. You wanted it private, should have kept it in the
Hey
house.
brother. Hey brother, next time don't go to a Coldplay concert. It's as simple as that.
Next time, don't do what you did. Rip.
and on
you're
top of that,
you're gonna
next
be
time,
memed for generations, buddy.
No,
next
we're
time
done.
don't do it. Don't
We're
do it
done.
with your own employee. What is wrong with you?
Human resources. They're a
Just don't do it at all.
resource.
Just don't do it. At all.
Human resources.
Just don't do it at all.
Anyway,
She's not there to fill your resources.
All right, chill out. Oh, boy. You know what?
I'll shake his hand.
On that note, send us off.
Oh, I'm keeping this in. I'm editing. I'm editing this one.
Jesus Christ. So let us know. I don't know how to continue off of serial killers to CEOs.
Do you, and be honest with yourself, do you have an over fascination with serial killers? Have you praised them before? Are you wrong for doing so? Do you think that we're justified in saying that it is wrong to do so? You know where you gotta do that? You gotta join the Discord. You gotta have a conversation with us. You gotta comment down below on YouTube so that way we will interact with you. Trust me, we will respond.
At the same
So-
time, all you gotta do is just click the link in the description. Takes you to everything.
With that being said, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, join the Discord, follow us on Instagram, all the socials. You know what to do. I'm Manny.
Frank.
The only cereal I'm slaying is Frosted Flakes. I'm Joseph.
Peace.